Hey everybody, welcome to The Remedy. Hi, I'm your host, Tony Pantelleresco, and you're listening to us live on the Micro Effect Broadcasting Network. You can access the show by typing in www.themicroeffect.com. Holy crap, got an echo. Hold on a second. Where are we at? Let's see. Is that better? Yeah, okay, we're cool. Anyway, we're back at microeffect.com where you can click in, listen to the show. We publish also information on www.health-access.com. We're also being published on bybluesky.com with articles on health, remedies, and general information going on worldwide and right here at home. This program is designed to help you keep your health and to show viable and inexpensive alternatives that can keep you and your family healthy, and to alleviate or remove unwanted illnesses that may occur in our lives from time to time, making you aware that not all that's supposed to be safe is, in some cases, allowing to understand the hidden dangers and possible solutions, prevention or protection of your health. I've been in the health food industry as well as a personal consultant and bodybuilder trainer, assisting people in finding health solutions, and I've utilized different healing modalities from different cultural themes as well as in herbs, supplements, vitamins, essential oils, and foods. You can access me by going to my website at augmentinforce.com, augmentinforce.com. As I do personal consultations as well, whether through the internet, through the IMs, phones, personal visits, as well as in-house workshops for families, individuals, or groups. We have on the website at augmentinforce.com a catalog link where you can click on and access the books, the videos. You can access the flash drive, the bucket, the t-shirts, the remedies, the recipes, all in one site. We also have herbal remedies, tinctures, and a whole host of remedies that may help you. For more information, you can reach me here at independz at yahoo.com, INDEPENDZ at yahoo.com, or contact me here by phone 519-977-5351. If you have any questions or comments pertaining to the show, feel free to do so at 208-935-0094. And today's date is 1/14. Is it really 1/14? I got the right date here. No, what date are we at here? I guess you are, 1/14, January 14, 2017. Wow. Boy, time flies when you're having a good time. Another day in paradise, and wow, we have the time just flying. Oh boy. Okay. I want to talk about a bunch of different things. I'm going to be all over the place today, as per usual. I want to talk about biofilm. I want to talk about us losing our access to this planet. There's been legislation being passed as we're doing a show, or it's passed this week actually, that they're now giving rights, individual rights, to what they call electronic life. In other words, androids, nano constructs, synthetic life, artificial intelligence is now going to have an equal standing or status with humans. This is not science fiction. This is not Ray Bradbury. This is not something, and matter of fact, he may have been, who knows, a time traveler, or maybe he has some real gifts to see into the future. But his stories that he wrote about back in those days were implying certain things that were going to go on with synthetic life. And here we are today, 2017, and legislation is being passed to give a synthetic life or an artificial life or a robot, electronic life, actual rights, and they're going to be based on the 3 laws of robotics. The first law is robots cannot hurt humans. The second law is that robots are to prevent humans from hurting themselves, and the third law is that a robot can defend itself as long as it doesn't hurt a human being. So these are the 3 laws of robotics that are going to be implemented in this technology. And we've been seeing a lot of sci-fi movies indicating that robots and technology would be serving humanity. Things we have to start understanding today, start looking at today, is we better wake up that humanity has the concept of humans being of the utmost importance has been really, really overhyped. All humans have been used for the last 2,000 years are slaves, throwaway materials to be used for other things, fertilizer. Now today we're talking genetics, human transport, illicit sex trades with young children, and so on. And all these things that they're perpetrating about artificial life, synthetic life, nanotechnology, genetic engineering, genetically modified organisms is impacting us in ways we have no idea what is going to, again, come from all these wonderful developments in science. And I wanted to present this to you because what's going to happen and what is already happening, some of you may have already noticed this in some areas of the United States and Canada, where we've had snow one day and rain the next, which is unusual for any kind of weather. But the point I'm getting here is that all of a sudden, some pathology, whether it be artificially made, synthetic, or genetically engineered, is now surviving the winter months by being infused in a bacterium which is now carried by the snow, which is now being released in the atmosphere through rain or through some form of evaporation process, so that in the middle of winter months, you are now having issues that normally would not exist. And this is being done now. And if you haven't seen this, pay attention in your environment. And this is what I'm referring to as artificial life, synthetic life, genetically engineered life, genetically modified. And when we're talking about pathologies, and we're talking about parasites, and we're talking about things that can get into virals and bacteriums that can get into your system and create a whole different type of problems for you. A lot of this has been genetically engineered or modified so it can survive in environments that normally would wipe it out. And I've been talking for months and almost a year in regard to nanotechnology integrated with biology, creating a whole new paradigm of problems that we've never seen before. And when we're talking robots and machinery and we're giving them access and freedoms and different things of this nature, then basically the human race is on the cusp of being completely taken out. And the general consensus for human beings is that you are to be attached or have technology attached to you in some way, whether it's inside your skull or a chip on your wrist or a chip on the forehead or a processor attached to your genetic code, so that you can directly interface with an artificial intelligence, or what I call an alien intelligence. And as a result, you may be able to have access to things you cannot have access to right now. But the catch-22 or the caveat here is that what you can access can also access you. What you think you are, when you think you're in control, when you think you are in control, in fact, you are being controlled. So everything has been set up to give us this impression that life would be better under the influence of an artificial intelligence. And this is basically a means and to an end to assimilate people or life into its matrix so that it can control it. And this is an alarming situation going on a global level, where we are looking at now legislation and giving an inanimate object rights and freedoms, or controlled rights and freedoms, no different than humans. We don't have rights and freedoms. We have a controlled right and freedom. So when we're looking at things going on today, and you're paying attention to some of the stuff that we used to call science fiction back in the 1960s and 1970s, has now become sci-fi reality. And if you start looking at a lot of the things that are being televised today on television and in the movies, yep. So when we're talking about some of the things that are being viewed on in the movies, this is all part of the assimilation to assimilate you into accepting or to pacify your fears about the integration of this technology with human biology. And when you look at the movie Artificial Intelligence by Steven Spielberg, this is all about attaching a synthetic life, a child, to a woman, applying it toward her maternal instinct to get her to accept this inanimate object as a child, part of the family, accepting it because it could interact on some sort of algorithm which would simulate an emotion or an emotional response. So when we're looking at some of this stuff today, don't think of it as being far-fetched and don't think of it as being out there. The reason why it's even being televised and being displayed as entertainment is to get you to concede to accepting this kind of tech so that it can take over or infiltrate your life. You will never, the privacies you think you have today will be completely gone tomorrow with this type of tech. Tony, a question right off the bat. Spectrum lights instead of the fake lights we have now. Okay? What's the question? I think you answered that yourself, Louise. When we're looking at some of the lights, I mean, even when you're driving down this road, some of these car lights that have, they're so high rated that actually you think they got the high beams on and they don't. So it's interesting. Well, you know, the thing about these movies and what they're doing, okay, they should generate a aggressive response to them. But the other response that they should be also stimulating is the fact that they are displaying this information right under your nose in the form of entertainment, letting you know what they're doing. Any of us born in the 50s can see through a lot of this stuff if our eyes are open. And you can see how the intimidations and the acting and the assimilating of these theatrics to get us to concede, to accept. It's all there. If you're not awake and you have not had your eyes open, you'll just see this as a form of entertainment, science fiction entertainment, and all you'll see out of it is, oh, this is so cool that a mom was able to find a child or have something to replace the child she lost. Basically, we're swapping a human life for a doll. One that can talk and walk and respond, but it's still a doll. You know, so this is the element that we are getting here. And then the next phase of its evolution is to, again, be fully integrated in some kind of biological life form. That would be the highest evolutionary state a machine could achieve, to become a biologic. That's where, and again, you'll see that up the way. When you see these AI shows that they're showing, you think about Pinocchio for a change, just for a split second. How Pinocchio basically was an allegory of artificial intelligence. If you look at Pinocchio, he was created in an environment tethered to a string. Strings were cut loose, and eventually he was able to walk about and intermingle among everybody and everything, and eventually became a biologic. Basically, that's the whole shooting match in one platform. And it may sound like a stretch, but if you sit there and analyze what the story of Pinocchio is really all about, and some of the things you're seeing in science fiction today, it isn't that far of a stretch. Tony, for colon cleansing, the FDA has regulated sodium thiosulfate. I cannot find where I can order it from, or can I use something else? Where are you calling from, Blondie? Where are you located? That would help me. if you're in the United States, try chemicalstore.com. As far as I know, you can order it. Whether the FDA regulated it or not, you can still order it. And if you can't find it, then you're going to have to modify Epsom salt, because Epsom salt is another sulfur. You might have to, again, combine it with another sulfur and just a simple sodium. You might have to put it together yourself. So again, when we're talking some of the stuff that's going on today, and again, with synthetic life and biology, okay, I'm starting off on this theme because, again, you need to be aware. You need to be aware that this is the reality we're dealing with today. You know, all the things that we're seeing on the political level is nothing but a distraction. All these legislations are going on right under our noses, and we're not even aware of the fact that all of a sudden one day you may wake up, and if you attack a robot or a machine, you may possibly be thrown in jail. You know, so again, be aware, be very much aware of the fact that, again, these things are going to have rights. They're going to be property just like you are. They're going to have capacities to think and be mobile just like you are. And this is the ultimate dream for the globalists. They don't care about you. And as far as they're concerned, these machines will eventually be able to run themselves. And that's already in the works too. So again, be aware of this stuff. This is something out of a Magnus Robot Fighter comic book that was written in the 50s. They knew something we didn't. They had access to information we don't have. And it was put out there in a form of entertainment. Now we're seeing it in live, living color. So again, think about what's going on today in regard to nanotechnology. Now let's get into biofilm. Because biofilm is part of the nanotechnology. It's, again, a genetically engineered or nano-engineered element that's being, again, can utilize almost any form of carbon or sugar or even synthetics to activate and propagate and, again, spread through your system. So when we're looking at some of the stuff that we're dealing with today in regard to biofilm, some of you are having all kinds of biofilm. So we're going to give you a quick formula, maybe a reminder. Basically, a simple and inexpensive biofilm killer would be a shot of brandy, which is about 28 to 30 mils, 1 drop of thyme, 1 drop of savory. If you can't find the savory, try finding either white birch, or what was the other one? White birch or wintergreen. Again, add a drop of that, mix it up in the brandy, and drink it down. You may find, if you do this every couple hours, you may find in using this stuff, you may have a release of nanoparticles, nanobiofilm coming out of you. Don't be a bit surprised when you go to the washroom, you see a film of material floating on the surface of the water of the toilet. Don't be a bit surprised you start seeing metallic particles coming out of different parts of your body that you never thought could have these things there. So when we're looking at, a simple biofilm remedy, this is one of the things that you can utilize. Again, and a lot of the essential oils, if you do some research on it, you may find a lot of the essential oils, like cinnamon is another one. It has a lot of anti-biofilm properties as well. Clove will have anti-biofilm properties as well. So you got a couple things like that. Your oregano, your thyme, your savory, your wintergreen, your birch. They all have a high level of anti-biofilm properties. You might want to use something called lecithin, L-A-U-R-I-C-I-D-A-N. Let me spell it again, L-A-U-R-I-C-I-D-A-N. AN. This is basically a glycerol lauric acid mixture that when you consume it, it allows this to have a soap-like effect where it can penetrate the cells and flush out this excess form of biofilm. Again, this is something that you can use. This is something that you can consider doing. Again, do some research on, I would type in essential oils working against biofilm. I'm looking at one now by ASM, and how they were using cinnamon and tea tree oil to, again, see the activity against the biofilm. You have to understand that biofilm spreads itself in your system by spreading spores through your body, activating them and then creating a network with them as well. So when we're talking things like clove, cinnamon, oregano, savory, thyme, some of these type of essential oils, they have a very powerful synergistic effect. Cajeput, tea tree oil, other things that can also kill off, again, normal occurring biofilm. And a lot of this biofilm is not going to be that easy to break down because of the nature of the biofilm itself and how it, again, is thriving on synthetics. We are loaded with a lot of synthetic material over the course of time because of what they have done on the food supply through genetics and through nano engineering. And we are now dealing with a lot of polymer material, a lot of metallic material integrated that's in the system that's actually adding to the biofilm spreading. So a lot of times any kind of metal stripping agent that you use, you might want to consider using it and then replacing the metals with the minerals that should be there. You might want to also incorporate more iodine, more copper, more boron, more manganese, more zinc, and more selenium. These in of themselves have, again, very powerful properties to support the immune system and to help in the reduction of biofilm. Okay, so again, I'll give you this page in the chat room. You may find it of some keen interest in regard to what's going on and who's doing what, because again, the more you know, the better. Okay, anything that has a high level of saponin content or soap-like material that comes from plants, you may want to use it. You may want to use it because, again, it goes into the cells and helps flush it out. Sunflower lecithin is a good product to use because of the way it emulsifies and gets into the fats. You might want to combine it in a liposome with some of the essential oils. You might want to combine it with other salts, maybe some sulfur. You know, if you got something going on and you can't digest it properly, you still need to get the stuff in you. If you get it in you on a cellular level, you may find that on a cellular level you may see results that, you know, that would otherwise not be there by using a liposome or hydrogel method. So again, keep that in mind when you're making these things. Combine them accordingly. You know, sulfur is a very, very powerful agent in regard to helping removing biofilm. So let's say you're taking sulfur and like garlic powder, onion powder. These would be very high in sulfur and very high in antioxidant properties, and both can help in reducing biofilm. The biofilm is a major, major problem going on right now. It's probably, with the nanotechnology, one of the root causes of a lot of your health issues. And again, a lot of the biofilm can collect nanoparticles, and when it spores itself out into your bloodstream, can carry these particles with it wherever they go. Makes them look extremely invincible, but really what it is they're able to jump from one place to another within the host. And again, you can wind up with a respiratory issue. You can wind up with digestive disorders. You can wind up with arthritic disorders. You can wind up with autoimmune, where your body's attacking itself. So again, this is something that you might want to consider in doing, like I said, in regard to maintaining your health or removing these things from the body. Herbs that you might want to use are like bay leaf, sage, thyme, oregano, thyme bark, lecithin, things of that nature. You might want to use things like wormwood as well, mugwort. You might want to use black walnut. These are things that can help you in your fight against biofilm. Make sure when you take these teas, if you make them in the tea form, add to it the iodine, selenium, copper, and zinc. Going to be very key in helping the iodine or anything else you're mixing with the beverage to get in there to actually help the body fight off these pathologies that you're exposed to. So again, keep that in mind. Keep some of the things that we're saying here and what to do and how to do it. Because again, we're having, and again, going back to what I said earlier, you're having one day where it's snowing. You got 2 feet of snow on the ground, the next day it's raining. And all of a sudden, everybody's got a respiratory infection. Everybody's got a digestive infection. Everyone's got some kind of autoimmune starting to happen. They got 5 shades of pneumonia and, some pleurisy. So when you're looking at some of the stuff that's happening in your environment, pay attention. Pay attention. One day it snows, the next day it rains, and the day after that, everybody gets sick. What's that all about? What's that all about? So again, understanding that, understanding what you're doing, understanding what you're, what's required to help you with your health and things that you're doing. Again, it's all about protecting your DNA. It's all about protecting your genetic code. It's all about, again, doing things that you need to do to get things done to protect the body. That's how it is today. We're no longer living in a paradigm where you have the health industry trying to save you. You don't have the medical industry trying to save you. What you've got is people going into these places, selling you stuff you don't need, or giving you misinformation. This is going on as well today. So again, it's all about, how you're going to protect your genetic code, how you're going to protect against the biofilm. So again, look into that. Look into what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. It's important that you realize that a lot of the stuff that we're again dealing with today in regard to these kind of pathogens makes it almost impossible to sometimes figure out or cure. How many of you have gotten sick in the last 2 weeks and you're still not feeling right? Think about that for a second. How many of you have been, for the last 2 weeks, if you've seen the double snow effect, on the same day, Monday it snowed, Tuesday it rained, and you said the same thing on the following Monday and Tuesday. It's almost like that Mandela effect. Things are slightly changing, slightly out of tune. So, pay attention to these things. Look at these things. Understand these things, and figure out what is going on. Okay, I'm always telling you in regard to biofilm, things to eat, not to eat, and why you shouldn't eat them. Well, one of the reasons why I tell you not to eat certain things, for instance, when you're talking biofilm, rice is gone, wheat is gone, sorghum is gone, rye, corn, no soy or soy-based foods, no canola oil, no microwaving of any food. Eliminate all glycemic fruits such as bananas, grapes, raisins, watermelons, and dates. No agave or corn syrup or molasses. Okay, there's a reason why not to eat these things. Because the grains themselves could be saturated with components that they shouldn't have. And we've been eating, like I said, nanoparticles in regard since the 1970s. So any of these foods that we're talking about today may wind up having a biofilm element to them. And you have to understand that a lot of the things that we're dealing with today are not normal. And when you think about all the things that are being excreted in the water table, the pollutants, the pills, and everything else, you have to consider what is happening today in just what we're drinking out of the tap. So again, you may be getting a biofilm mixture just from the tap water. This is something to consider. Something to consider. So again, if you're not sure about foods that you shouldn't eat, then you need to, like I said, look at taking things like essential oils on a regular basis in a brandy format or some other format where you can deliver this into the body relatively quickly and allow for, again, a protection up from the biofilm. Hold on, I got somebody beeping me here. Nope. All right. So again, think about that. Think about all these things. So yeah, okay, and even when another simple solution for some of you who may have an alcohol issue going on, you can't handle any alcohol, so brew some black coffee. And once you brew the black coffee, again, add 1 or 2 drops of the essential oil, thyme, and savory to them, or wintergreen or birch, and drink it that way. Oh, I hear the music. All right, come on back. We're going to get unbiled. All right, see you in a bit. Hey, we are back to the remedy. Hi, I'm your host, Tony Pentelarusco, and you're listening to us live on the Micro Effect Broadcasting Network. Alrighty, just before the break, we started talking about biofilm. We started talking about, the advancements in artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, which has been infecting us through different delivery methods that have been put out there. Where to buy essential oils in Canada for eating. Almost any essential oil can be used for consumption. They all put a listing on there not for consumption because people don't have a clue on how to use them. It's a safety teacher oil. Yeah, you can consume it by using it in a carrier, like 1 drop to a teaspoon of oil. You may have a interesting impact on your colon. Things may start coming out. Things may be shifting. Oh, you may even have interesting time even going to the washroom. Tony, may I ask what brand of essential oils is best to use? There are so many out there. Okay. Fundamentally, when you're talking basic essential oils, orange, lemon, grapefruit, peppermint, spearmint, rosemary, sage, thyme, things like this, oregano, they're pretty basically all the same. Pick one. Now brand, if you're in the United States, Now brand is fairly decent for some of these things. Now, having said that, you still have to do your due diligence and do your research. When you start getting into more elaborate oils, that's when you want to get into dealing with private independence. I deal with a company down in Arizona, Herb Stop Online. I've been dealing with these people probably for over a decade. Now, I get some more elaborate oils. I'll get things like Naioli MVQ, and I'll get things like Yarrow and Neroli and things like this, where I won't go to the Now brand companies or type companies like that, because those oils are more expensive and require more work to get the distillation process accurate. So when we're looking at oils, generally speaking, now this is a generality here, and again, I got to repeat, you have the due diligence on essential oils is going to come from you and your research. Researching the company, contacting these companies. They will all tell you that they shouldn't be ingested. Okay, if you're wanting to know how to use these oils, and the best application, there's a book out written by an older gentleman that did the work on aromatherapy. It's called The Practice of Aromatherapy by Jean Villeneuve. I've not seen, there's been only 1 or 2 other books I've seen that offer anything remotely close to what this guy did. And you can learn from that book how to apply almost any essential oil orally. Now again, there's the odd one you shouldn't use. But as a whole, they can pretty well all be taken if they are carried in a dilution. In other words, if you mix them with oil or wine or coffee, or if you're mixing them with a fat of some kind, cheese, whatever. So anyway, when we're looking at what we can do today, how we can use these things. Okay, I'll use myself personally. I have used the Now brands. I've used Oracacia. I've used them both orally and externally. But again, I don't always use the elaborate oils I get, like I said, from an independent. And again, the oregano oil, the cinnamon bark, cinnamon leaf, the clove, bay leaf, the thyme, doesn't matter which one, sage, rosemary, savory, peppermint, they all have some form of anti-biofilm property that could help. Even when you think about it, no matter what form of diet, you're eating, cows are being fed grains. Those grains are having nanoparticles. You're eating the cow. Now you may be getting the nanoparticles just through the tissue where the cow, where it may in fact be absorbed in the cow, in the meat itself. You're eating vegetables. You're going out and you're grabbing some cherries and blueberries and raspberries and strawberries and grapes, and they're all loaded with metallic material which would produce a high level of biofilm because of the sugar content of these foods. So again, you're going to have to learn how to negate a lot of these things before you even use them. Turpentine is excellent for biofilm, so is kerosene. So these are things that you want to start applying, learning. If you don't know anything about kerosene, go to my website, augmentinforce.com, and type and look at the kerosene link as well. You know, we have to start thinking in today's realm of reality that we are our genetic code, our very core of our genetic matrix, our bodies, our cells, our brains, is under high-end attack. And it's all about subjecting you to some form of assimilation. So again, think about what is going on in today's time. Whatever you thought you knew about health, majority of it probably, in all likelihood, has been false, misinformation, and erroneous. When someone tells you that you have to be in an acid or an alkaline realm, then you have to ask the question, what has caused that realm to be so imbalanced, so bad? If you're too acidic, why are you too acidic? Because if you're too acidic, that means your body is trying to get back into homeostasis by breaking down whatever is causing high levels of alkalinity in the body. What could cause high levels of alkalinity in the body? Well, how about a chemtrail dumping? How about aluminum? How about barium? You know, how about these base metals that are in these chemtrails that you're absorbing through the pores? That would stimulate a acid response, because that's how your body would defend against this kind of material, by producing enough acid to break it down so the body can get rid of it. What's causing the body to be too alkaline? You know, something that would cause the body to be in such an acidic state that again the body's going to another realm. So when we're looking at some of the stuff today that we're being taught, it's neither about acid or alkalinity. It's more about what is causing the imbalance. Why is a person too alkaline? Why is a person too acidic? Why is this going on? What causes? What's the trigger that's happening there? Okay, let's say we're going to blame the diet. Okay, the person's eating meat and he's eating animal proteins, and this is causing the body to go into an acidic state. Then my question would be, is it really? Or is what's in the meat, what's in the animal that they're eating, is that what's actually causing the body to go into an acid state, because the body is trying to break down this base metal? Okay, and someone says, well, they're too alkaline. Is that because they're eating too many vegetables or high-end, again, base products? Possibly, but could be that maybe they've got something in the system that is so horrendous and creating such a maelstrom of acid to form that the body's now going into an alkaline state, or trying to neutralize the acidity in the system. So when we're talking about some of the things that we've been taught, it's not about whether you're, like I say, acid or alkaline. Let's look at, why are you in that imbalance? So that's the question. Why are you in that imbalance? What did you take? What did you consume? What was in what you consumed? How many of you got the 60x scope or 100x scope? I just ordered another handheld. I haven't figured out how to use it completely yet, but it's a handheld scope. It's a 200 to 500x, which I can now hold in my hand, which in the future I'm going to go shopping with this thing and have a look and have a walk on the wild side. Take a walk on the wild side. And I'm going to start taking photos of things, because the awareness factor is now getting way past the point where awareness should be the issue anymore. It should be now more about, what are we going to do about, how can we correct this? What are we doing to correct this? How did we get into this conundrum where we're now eating things that are loaded with metallics? How is it that we are now no longer able, how come our thyroid's not working? What's going on with the thyroid? What would be shutting the thyroid down? What could cause this? So when we're looking at things that we are dealing with today, and the question now has to be, why are we consuming these things? What's in what we're consuming? Karen, I'll tell you, the 60X is pretty good. The 100Xs that I've seen so far on eBay are a pain in the butt. They take a long time to adjust and to get the thing focused. So, I mean, the 60X is real simple. Unless you're getting the same type of 60X ocular as in the 100X, the same style and same format, that one will work. Because they got one that's like a long tube that you look through. And they got these square ones. The square ones, I would tell you, leave them alone. They're like I said, a pain in the backside to get them to function properly. The other ones work similar to the 60X. It's a long tube with the lens attached, and basically all you do is just put it on there, adjust your up and down movement, and it's there. It's in focus. Tony, pH is parts hydration. Does aluminum dehydrate or block H2O absorption? It blocks a lot of things. One of the things it blocks is your receptor sites. But again, aluminum, it acts as a neutralizing agent to the body's homeostasis. So the body is going to go into an acid state trying to break that down. It is a base metal. And then when we're getting to this point of high saturation of metals in the body's going to go acidic. But again, the theme has been that because you're eating meat or you're eating some kind of animal protein, that this is putting you in a state of acidity. I never bought into that. If the animals are eating grasses like they should be eating, then why would your body go into an acid state when the animal itself is eating basically an alkaline or a mineralized diet? So there's a lot of things that we've been taught that is just not adding up. And a lot of things that we've been taught, we're not seeing the success that we should be seeing. If we have a high acidity in the body, if we took alkaline materials, it should bring the acidity down. So again, and I've had people, like I said, who worked on this acid alkaline thing, didn't hardly eat anything, and still wound up in a state of acidity. So when we're looking at some of the stuff, I think we have to reevaluate what are we exposed to today. This is the question I'm trying to present here. What are we exposed to today that would keep our bodies in a state of high acidity? Is it the barium? Is it the strontium? Is it the thorium? Is it the cadmium in the sky, the lead, the mercury? Is it the aluminum? Is it the nano silver? These are all base metals. These are all coming down on a nano scale, attacking the body on a cellular level. So, I mean, then you go out to eat stuff, and then all of a sudden you're in a state of compromise. Well, is it what you ate compromised you, or is it what was in what you ate that compromised you? Is the components of the chemtrails that are coming from the sky in the food supply? Is the chemtrails stuff coming, or the spraying in the fields, they're using a nano delivery method, is that causing the problems? See, we've been taught to look at this food is going to do this food is going to do that, blah, blah, blah. And technically speaking, no food should keep you in a high level of acidity. But because they're looking at something superficial to distract the general population, this is what's manifested. So, like I said, when we're talking today about food supply, and you're looking at nanotechnology, you're looking at biofilm. Okay, nanotech hits the plants, gets inside because of the carbon starts to assemble. It produces, because it has a synthetic material, that element now starts producing a biofilm that normally would not be there, because the nanoparticles that are there are stimulating the propagation of biofilm. How many of you have gone outside when it rains and it doesn't feel like rain? How many of you gone outside when it's raining and it's chilled and the temperatures are not normal? And then the next day you see people getting sick, having respiratory issues. Now, why is that? Why is that happening? See, these are questions that you need to ask. Why is it that we're having snow one day and the next day we're having rain? What is going on? What is being released? What has caused everyone's having chest issues now, respiratory issues? See, that's the questions that we need to start asking. And not just going along with the paradigm of the health food industry, because the paradigm of the health food industry is to keep you in a circle. What they didn't sell this year, they'll sell it next year, because you'll be back in that circle. So when we're looking at your autoimmune, your genetic code, your DNA, mitochondria, ATP, chromosomes, this is where this has been designed to hit you, to take you out of the equation. Okay, before I go on, I'm always talking about the Micro Effect Broadcasting Network. Give them your support, help them. This is an activist channel that's allowing the truth to come out and fly freely. Support this. Okay, you got Linda Natural Earth Organics, 519-980-5995. Sells all kinds of things, collects all the kinds of things from the farmers direct, so you minimize some of the exposure from some of the other health issues that the health food industry, or not the health food industry, the mainstream food industry can cause. So again, you may want to check her out. You got bybluesky.com and www.health-access.com, two sites. One's an activist site with By Blue Sky, also gagcanada.ca with Bernadette Green. Check them out. Check out these places, especially bybluesky.com and gagcanada.ca. And again, get involved. Try to do something to make a change. Then you got me here at 519-977-5351 or independz at yahoo.com. Here we've got a website, augmentinforce.com. There you will click on the catalog link. In that catalog link, you'll see all kinds of stuff, books and t-shirts and herbal remedies and flash drives and the bucket. So you may want to check out the flash drive, the 32 gig flash drive. It's got books, it's got radio shows, it's got interviews, it's got databases, all in one. You know, it's got videos as well. So if you're interested, 519-980-5995. Oh, sorry, 519-977-5351. Scratch out, my head was somewhere else. 519-977-5351 or independz at yahoo.com. Alrighty. Yep. When we're talking today about health, Tony, if we're in an acidic state constantly, do you think that's what affects immunity? It's going to, sure it is. I mean, you have to think, if you're in an acidic state, that means you're trying to burn stuff up. That's going to include good and bad. But because we're having such an inundation of nanoparticles from the sky, we're consuming the nanoparticles in the food supply, they're spraying that in the field. This is also creating a high level of biofilm to thrive in you in the environment because of all the synthetic material that's in your system. And it's because of these synthetics, these things can actually morph or can evolve to some other type of biofilm, you know, creating its own barrier and protection. So, like I said, we're looking at today and doing things that are on a very high end because we have no choice. We're being that exposed. And like I said, when they're spraying stuff in the field and then they're bringing it to a market, whether it's a health food store or not, and they're irradiating all the stuff, and they're telling you it's all orgasmically organic, and then you buy the stuff, or you cut an apple that's supposedly organic, and it can sit on your shelf, sit on the counter, peeled off for 2 weeks. We have a problem. That food ain't gonna work with you. So when we're looking at some of the stuff that's going on today and what's happening today, you know, we're looking at genetics, we're looking at nano, and we're looking, I mean, and then we got the problems that can come from this technology. One of them being biofilms that, again, have mutated because of the synthetic elements that they're exposed to. So, again, you know, we want to, like I said, have a different perspective on how we treat our bodies. Oh, I hear the music. I hear the music. So, all right, come on back after part 2. We're going to further get into some of this and see if we can come up with some better solutions. All right, take care.